What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of eBay Business Owners Podcast. Thank you for joining me. My name is Chris. I go by Daily Refine on all social media. And today I want to go over a 3-step plan for building your eBay side hustle. And this is super important because a lot of people have been asking me, how do I get started? How do I build this eBay business from scratch? I only have so much time. How do I replace my full-time income? Well, I can explain to you how to do it for free right now. Let's get straight into it. If you guys can hear me, please put in the chat. But just let me know exactly what. If you guys have any questions or concerns, you can email me directly at chris@dailyrefinement, but let's get straight into it. So the first thing you need to do is determine what your capacity is. Okay, so how much time do you have? How much money do you have to really work on this? Okay, most of the time people come to me and say, I want to build a 7-figure business in 2 hours a month. There is no such thing as that. Like, unless you can sell airplanes, it's very difficult to make that much money in such little time, right? You're gonna have to really today have 25 items a week. Okay, so this is about 5 items per day after work. So you get off work, maybe you thrift during lunchtime, or you order some stuff online to flip. 5 items a day, 5 times a week. You take both weekend days off for your family. So you have a very limited time. Now, realistically, right? If you want to go towards a 10% sell through, this is very slow, but this is a good number to shoot for. Meaning, if you have 1,000 items for sale, 100 sell each month, that's a 10% sell through rate. If you were to buy and list 100 items and sell 100 items and you had 1,000 items in your store, it would stay the same size every single day. And that's really important because, every single month in, month out. And then you could sustain this side hustle for as long or as short as you want it to. So we're starting with this capacity, 25 items per week. Now, depending on your level of skill for Sing, you can source items that are $5 profit, or you can source items that are $50 profit. I've seen resellers that only purchase things that are $100 profit. Now, don't purchase too many things, but they're just starting with a very small amount. So determine your capacity, how much money, how much time, how much space do you have? That's the very first step. Okay, the second step is figure out the systems and processes to maximize that time. Okay, do you need a dedicated shipping area, a dedicated area to prep items, a dedicated area to photograph items? What are the processes you need? And if you have some issues, reach out to people who already know how to do it. Okay, if you don't know how to take photographs, do some tutorials. My link for how to do photos is bit.ly/purewhitephotos. A lot of people have been asking me how I take my photos. They're not the best, but I like to mix between speed and functionality. So I do have the clear white background. It's about 90 percentile. I can get to 100%, but that would require more time. And for the items that I sell, it's not really worth it that time into it for me. But I have seen people, if I were to add 2 more lights, like I'm going to in the next couple of weeks, you'll see just how fast, like a good mix between fast and clear. And I think that's the difference for photographs. You want bright, clear, fast. That's how you want to get your photograph process. So if you're slow at listing, if you're slow at buying, whatever your weakness is, work on that or hire someone else to do it for you. There are plenty of people who will shop Goodwill for you and look for great items, and they have no interest in listing ever. People ask if I worry about my lister starting his own eBay business. He does have his own eBay business. It's really small, and he doesn't like how much space it takes up, and he doesn't like how much maintenance it takes. So he's not really into it. He'll list a few items if he finds some, but he's not interested in running an eBay business. He's interested in working in an eBay business. So good differentiation there. Okay, so once you figure out how much time you have, and then you maximize how much time you have, now you need to do that same thing for 10 months. And this is where this is very unpopular advice. But if you have 10% sell through, that means it takes 10 months for you to sell all your items. Okay, so you have to maintain the same schedule for 10 months. Okay, that's really unpopular. And if you don't like the answer to that and you want to sell things faster, then you better be better at buying items that are on trend, items that sell right away. I've seen people who purchase items that sell within 2 weeks. It usually takes longer to find those types of items, and you have to be more skillful. You have to look for things that people want right now. But if you're just buying random items, a good sell-through rate to shoot for is 10%. right? If you're looking for the more random your items are, the more difficult it's going to be to achieve this number, right? So you definitely want to aim for common items that people are looking for. The more common and the more useful and the more on trend and the more popular, the faster your items will sell. But if you're just going to sell random items, again, 10% sell through is a good rate. If you're going to sell random, unique, antique items and junk, this stuff is going to sell much slower. You're talking about 20 months to sell through all your stuff. If you're selling popular electronics or video games, expect your stuff to sell through in a week or two. So again, this is a 3-step process. This video is going to be really short and actionable for you guys. Get out a piece of paper. Please like the video if you have a chance, but it's very straightforward. Figure out your capacity and your time. How much time do you have? How much space do you have? How much money do you have? Okay, and how much realistic time can you put into it? Reselling is not easy or hard. It just is what it is. The amount of work that you put into it is what comes out the other end. It's very clear like that. If you are in Australia, I am doing an Australian show on Sunday, 2 p.m. Your time is 9 p.m. my time Pacific. So like reach out to me at chris@dailyrefinement.com so I can do an Australian show. I really enjoy talking to, I say Aussie, but apparently in Australia they say Aussie. So Aussie resellers, if you want to be on the show, I'm going to do one of the Brady Bunch style Zoom where all of us are talking live on the YouTube. So if you want to join, chris@dailyrefinement.com. You cannot join if you're not living in Australia because that's an Australian-based reseller show. What's up, Wade? Thanks for joining. Shazad's asking, I'm going to do a quick Q&A and then I'm going to finish my shipping for the day. How many hours to pack 350 items? It depends on what it is. I've seen people pack, I do bottoms like pants, skirts, dresses, working on potentially re-entering in a men's clothing. Men's clothing for me is difficult unless it's vintage or business wear, but I may enter because there's such a surplus of supply right now and my process is pretty clean, so I may re-enter that. Sorry about that. Just got a text just confirming my photographer. We are switching processes. So next Tuesday, we're actually going to switch to 100% VA listing. I have not done that before. I've never switched to 100% VA's listing. And my photographer is going to go from 35 items a day, shot, listed, and put on the eBay to 200 photographs. He's going to photograph the item and put it away. So I'm switching from one guy doing all of it start to finish to breaking it up, right? So he'll be switching from 35 items start to finish to 200 photographs and putting it away. Also working on a new prep person, going to hire a receiver. So a person that takes inventory and records the cost of goods sold, describes all the item, plugs in our spreadsheet, and then we're going to list on potentially 5 platforms. So I am working on that. So if you guys have any ideas on what platforms I should be listing on, please let me know. I'm not going to tell you which ones I'm listing on yet. I'm going to see what kind of feedback I get from you guys because I want space do you have. Then figure out the systems and processes to maximize that time. Figure out how many items per hour you can do. Right? I think anywhere between 5 and 10 items an hour is really fast already. You don't need to necessarily be much faster than that, right? And if you're using VAs and photographers, all that time still adds up, but you can get to a really efficient process of maybe 15 to 20 an hour, depending on your category. That's blazing fast, okay? At $10 an item profit, at 15 to 20 items, that's $150 to $200 an hour. Some doctors don't make that much money. So if you can get to that point, kudos. But again, 5 to 10 is good enough to make $50 to $100 an hour. That's a lot. You can definitely make some good coin, build a good side hustle with that. And then finally, you have to do that same thing for 10 months if you have a 10% sell-through rate. Hopefully that makes sense, guys. Sell 10% of your stuff, it takes 10 months to sell all of it, right? So you can't be inconsistent about it. You've got to do the same thing for basically an entire year. So give yourself a year to build a successful reselling side hustle, right? I'm doing that on multiple platforms. If you have any questions, reach out to me at chris@daily